Hey everyone, it's Manny. If you've been following along my channel, I've dropped a couple of hints in my videos as far as my future plans for powerlifting. You may have noticed that my videos have been a bit more sporadic than they were during my Raw Unity training cycle. But I do have a meet picked out, and it's actually coming up real soon. So I figured I'd finally let the cat out of the bag and tell you what my plans are. So my next meet is going to be Saturday, May 9th. I'm actually going to be competing in the USAPL Connecticut Spring Classic at Gleason Performance in Derby, Connecticut. Um, I'll be competing in the 66 kilogram weight class, so 145 and a half pounds. Really looking forward to doing my first USAPL meet. For those of you who don't know, the weight classes are different from the standard 132, 148, etc., and it's a 2-hour weigh-in. Um, and yeah, I've definitely been looking forward to doing a USAPL meet. I had considered doing the one in Brooklyn, which actually took place this past weekend, but it sold out before I even got on the plane for Raw Unity. And yeah, I didn't want to commit to a meet that early, especially since I was getting ready for the biggest meet of my life, and I really wanted to focus on that. So that meet sold out. Yeah, there is actually a meet next weekend in Orange County, New York, which I had considered, and I may have mentioned to some people about it, but then I heard about this meet in Connecticut, which actually is a little bit closer to my home. Or Kimberly Walford's going to be judging at that meet. A couple of lifters that I'm really looking forward to seeing, like Iwa Januskovic, who competed at the Arnold. Miss Donuts and Deadlifts herself, Chrissy May Cagney, is also going to be competing. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great meet. As far as why, I'm going this direction, for those of you who don't know, I had been competing in the 132-pound weight class, but I usually walk around well over that and cut weight. I haven't really had a problem with making weight or putting it back on, but it has gotten to the point where these cuts just aren't getting any easier. Um, and I've accomplished most of what I wanted to in the 132-pound weight class, including winning a medal at Raw Unity and getting a top 12 nationally ranked total. So, at this point, we're really looking at diminishing returns for cutting this much weight. Certainly, while big meets like Raw Unity, it might be worth considering cutting that much weight. For a small local meet at this point, to maybe set a couple of PRs isn't really worth it. So, I'm kind of slowly transitioning up. I mean, if you're weighing in, at the mid 140s, or less than 10% body fat, you're kind of in no man's land. Because the next weight class up in the traditional weight class is 148. You may have guys cutting from the 160s to make 148, or even if someone just walks around at 148 and you weigh substantially less, you're giving up quite a bit of muscle mass. And so, the slightly lower weight limit of 66 kilos or 145 and a half pounds in the USAPL, combined with the 2-hour weigh-ins, actually works in my favor at this point. Because I'm not giving up as much to my competition. And so, there's that aspect, and I kind of do look forward to qualifying for USAPL Raw Nationals, which I plan on doing in October. And again, it'll give me an opportunity to be competitive on national level, even though I'm kind of in this no man's land in between weight classes. I'm still not quite strong enough to compete with most of the 148s realistically. And so, it'll be nice to go to USAPL Raw Nationals to do a national meet, while I'm still in no man's land, so to speak. And I'm looking forward to sharing the platform with a lot of the great USAPL lifters, like Mike Teixeira, Jennifer Thompson, Kimberly Walford, Bladen Sumner, Ray Williams, all those guys who, because of IPF Rule 14.9, can't make it to Raw Unity, but, are still great lifters. And, I'd love to get to meet all of them. And now, I know the 14.9 is a point of confusion because you notice a lot of the USAPL guys don't compete at Raw Unity. But basically, Rule 14.9 applies to international meets, and if you compete in an international meet outside of the IPF, you do get a 1-year ban from competing in the IPF. But that only applies to IPF international meets. And so, certainly the guys who are qualified to do the World Championships as well as the Pro Raw Challenge at the Arnold Sports Festival, even though that's largely associated with USAPLS, technically an international meet too. So, if you were to do Raw Unity, you would be banned from that meet as well. And so that's why a lot of the top USAPL guys don't compete at Raw Unity. But for me, since I wasn't going to do any of those international meets anyway, that doesn't really apply to me at this point. And the decision to go to the USAPL, isn't really influenced by my experience at Raw Unity at all. I had a great time there, and I definitely look forward to possibly participating in Raw Unity if I can qualify as a 148. That obviously has a much higher qualifying total. But I think at this point, I'm trying to cut down to 132 isn't really worth it. And so, I'm trying to do what's best for me in the long term, like gradually moving up in weight classes. And I think the USAPL is nice transition to that. So I'm really looking forward to this meet in Connecticut, as well as eventually competing at Raw Nationals in October. So if you plan on going to the meet in Connecticut, or if you're a YouTuber and plan on being at Raw Nationals, feel free to comment, let me know, and I look forward to meeting you. Thanks everyone, and have a good one.